now going to actually start. Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to Tag Team, the Pokemon trading card game's premier podcasting duo. My name is Riley Hulbert, joined as always by my good friend, Mr. JW Kriewall. JW, how you doing today?
Pretty good, Riley. Nice intro today.
Yeah, without a mess up.
I thought there
No
was
blunders.
some extra pizzazz today. I don't know, just the way that you spoke your words. They had a lot of authority and gravitas.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes.
JW, I gotta say, you're looking awful professional now without the bun action going on.
I know. It's a shame. I have mourned every day since its cutting.
I know it is sad, and I know you were like tracking how much it had grown for a while.
Well, it was, I mean, it like that first, I remember the first day that I could actually put it into a bun. There was like that weird in between period. And I don't know if you remember, but it was like I had to like
Yeah,
wear a headband, but it wasn't long enough to put into a bun. And I had like a lot of like extra hair on the side, you know?
yeah.
Um, so it was quite a glorious day when I could just wrap everything up in a bun and then just to see all that hard work go out the window. Well, it didn't go out the window. We enjoyed her while she was around, but
Right.
now we're without her and we mourn the loss, but we look ahead to a bright future.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I feel like I'm kind of in an awkward hair phase right now.
Uh,
I don't
yeah,
know if I want a man bun or not. My hair is like a little long, but I like it a little long. It's just hard to manage. Um,
sure.
it like gets in your face and your eyes. And the problem with my
Yeah,
hair
definitely.
is like, I feel like compared to your hair is very straight, and mine is very like wavy and curly. Um, so I have to. It's like harder to get it to bun status because it gets just so chaotic.
Mhm.
Um, so that's kind of been my little gripe recently.
Gotcha. Hey, how about those Buckeyes?
I know I'm actually wearing the undisputed
I
champ shirt from
I saw it
2015
2015,
right
right?
now.
Yeah.
So yeah, the
Uh,
Buckeyes definitely killed it. They beat Clemson, which was awesome. It was a pretty fun game to watch too. So
it was really exciting. I really do enjoy. It's kind of my guilty pleasure. I don't know if it's guilty. No, actually, I'm going to own up to it. It's my pleasure to watch blowouts. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I really enjoy a good blowout, especially if it's an underdog blowing out a you
right, and
know
there's definitely like some
a better.
storyline there, right? Like Clemson has historically been difficult for Ohio State.
Yeah.
Ohio State has wins against Alabama and has wins against all sorts of other like powerhouse teams, but Clemson has been like really the bane of our existence for years now. Um,
Yeah.
and there's a little bit of trash talk in terms of rankings behind the scenes, and so getting that little karmic payoff was very nice.
Yes, indeed it was.
So, but you're not here to listen about football, are you? You're here to listen about Pokemon. So, I wanted to first kick off the cast just briefly in case you didn't get a chance to see it, and in case you haven't been paying attention. We did a giveaway over on our Twitter. It is now over. Mr. Vic Sabo ended up winning the Trainer Toolkit and the Zacian V Battle Deck. If this is coming as a surprise to you, you should definitely follow us on Twitter at Tag Team
Mhm.
Pokemon. We do giveaways. We have fun little tweets for you. We have announcements when we're going live. Uh, kind of get little sneak peeks at what the episodes are looking like in terms of topics. You definitely want to come over to our Twitter, so be sure to follow us.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. We love Twitter as a way of engagement, and maybe that's something that we could explore more of in 2021.
Yeah, and actually later in this episode, we plan to talk about more, kind of what our goals are in 2021. I think that's a good one to add on to there. Um, Speaking of 2021, we have a deck that's really taken the year so far by storm, Mr. JW.
And could we talk about this deck any more on the podcast?
I feel like we'd be remiss not to talk about it now, but we talk about it so much that it's kind of, it feels like we're beating the dead horse a little bit here.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So of course that deck is Pikachu and Zekrom taking home a number of victories over this last week, most notably in the Full Grip Games online series tournament number 8 and the Hegster tournament number 18, piloted by another, well, I guess a notable Pikarom player
Yeah, I mean,
in Mike
Pikarom,
Fouché.
we've been talking for weeks now about how we really enjoy Pikarom in this format, how it's been a really just overall good go-to deck. Obviously taking home the Players' Cup as well. Um, and it just doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. It's just consistently putting up the numbers. It's adaptable to the format that it's placed in. Um, what I guess what more do you want us to really say about Pikarom? We've really, really seen his dominance in full force here.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that you have a deck that loses like arguably the best pieces about it. Like I I think you could really make a case for, Electro Power being one of the best cards in the deck in last format. And then to lose it and still be able to compete is pretty incredible. And then, even losing things like Thunder Mountain, like that was a very good card for the deck last format as well. And just, it's amazing that it's still around, it's still here, and it really, like you said, isn't going anywhere.
No doubt, no doubt. And we were talking before the cast, and I think it's worth saying, like, Pikarom really is, in my mind at least, up there in the pantheon of like all-time decks. It's been such a mainstay in expanded and standard ever since it came out. It's been so adaptable to the formats it's placed in, while also still maintaining like a straightforward and simple strategy to a degree. I'm like, obviously Pikarom. I feel like Pikarom really varies in terms of like attackers in various formats, but
Sure.
overall the goal is to get a Pikarom powered up and then use him to go forward into the night. Whether that means powering up something else or going in with a tag bolt. Alolan Raichu has been a staple, obviously, since Unified Minds came out.
Sure.
But the fact that the deck has maintained like a level of consistency and power across over a year now of formats, or almost a year now of over a year. I don't know, I'm just
Yeah.
like completely losing my mind. Over a year of formats now.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years of formats. While still being
Yeah.
a top contender, while continually losing cards to rotation.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, you think about some of the best decks from all time, right? You think about like the Gardevoir Gallades, and you think about the Lux Chomps. You think about, even things recently like Zoroark. And I certainly think you got to put Pikarom up there because just it's one pretty much since its inception all the way to now. And, it's amazing what this deck can do.
And I think, in terms of individual formats, I don't think Pikarom truly like matches up with some of the like strongest decks we've had of all time.
Sure.
But I think what Pikarom really has going for it is its staying power and its consistency as remaining one of the top decks.
Sure.
Whereas you had decks like Gardevoir Gallade that were, unequivocally like best decks in their format. Pikarom never really reaches that status, I don't feel like, where it's just like blows everything out of the water. But what it does have is it consistently beats a lot of things and stays hanging with the best decks, which I think is still worth noting, right?
Yeah.
We look back at Zoroark. Very rarely did Zoroark have like a complete stranglehold on every single deck in the format.
Sure.
But it consistently had staying power and was able to handle all sorts of things. And Pikarom almost feels like it's more in that category.
Sure. Yep. Absolutely.
So super cool. Obviously we're stands of Pikarom here at Tag Team. I mean, Pikrom's kind of like the namesake of the show in a way. We started the show when Pikarom was coming out. Tag teams were the thing.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of crazy.
So Pikarom has kind of had a major impact on our journey here.
On us as individuals.
So there you go. There you go. Pikarom. I feel like we don't have to beat a dead horse. Fantastic deck. It's definitely my go-to in this format going forward. If you're ever unsure what to play, Pikarom in all of its forms is a really good choice.
Mm, totally. What are some other top decks, Riley, that you've been seeing recently and that you've been liking in terms of lists that have come out from these tournaments?
I really enjoy like straightforward Eternatus decks right now. I
Mhm.
think Eternatus is one of the decks that hangs the best at Pikarom.
Yeah.
Pikarom really is reliant on getting good paralysis off and getting good hammer flips slash yell grunt hits to keep up with Eternatus in like a meaningful capacity. And sometimes if they just don't quite hit right, Eternatus can really just blow you out.
Sure.
Um, and while also maintaining like relatively good matchups across the board, especially against like tag team Pokemon, and Senny Scorch as well has like historically been a good matchup. So I
Yep.
think Eternatus is a pretty solid stay in this format. I'd also call out another deck that I have enjoyed and have called out recently. I called it out specifically in the ADP list format, but I think Excadrill has kind of got a niche for itself right now. I think the ADP matchup is going to be your hardest one, but Pikarom and Eternatus are both pretty favorable. And if you can find ways to plow through your deck quickly enough to get to your, I forget what it's called. It's like last chance tackle or something like that. If you can get
Mhm.
to that 180 damage attack on the Excadrill, to actually be able to knock out Zacians with the stadium in play, then theoretically you can hang with ADP. It's kind of hard to do, but I definitely know I've been the ADP and been against Excadrills that got there really fast, and it's not pleasant. So,
Right. Right. Exactly. I want to loop back around to you make a really good point there um, about the Excadrill. I think it is quite an interesting deck and obviously suffers a lot from just ADP's existence. And you definitely look at that deck as being something that in a format, a tournament that maybe has ADP banned, as that deck probably flourishing, obviously taking those extremely good matchups just based on weakness, but also being able to hit just hard enough to take down really anything. I want to loop back to Eternatus in as much as it has one of the best matchup spreads right now. I was looking on Twitter and I found a spread chart from a Limitless kind of overview of their tournaments. And it had Eternatus as going pretty much 50-50 against all of the other top contenders, the ADPZs, the Pikaroms, Lucario, Melmetal, Blacephalon, Centiskorch, Mewtwo, while only having that one unfavorable matchup of those 7 decks against Lucario, Melmetal.
yeah,
And so I think it just, we've been kind of saying it like Pikarom and Eternatus, but to have this Limitless graphic break it down to the point where they're taking the data from tournaments, turning it into a graphic, and then that still backs up the claims that we were making is really gratifying. So
absolutely.
Eternatus, one of the best decks, hands down, and has even or favorable matchups against most of the format. Obviously, we're going to take some bad L's to things like Excadrill and Colossal, but the good thing is that those aren't really that highly played right now.
Yeah, and even then, like if Colossal draws awkwardly or gets a weird start, both Pikarom and Eternatus can kind of get there in certain situations. So,
Yeah,
you know,
certainly.
certainly like mainstays in the format, Pikarom and Eternatus. Any other decks that really jump out at you lately, JW? Anything kind of inspiring you and getting you creative juices flowing?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed Cinderace. I did a video
Oh,
on it
interesting.
the other day. Yeah, Cinderace seems like something that if I were to play kind of casually, but still wanted to have,
And we're talking
interesting.
about the non VMAX.
No, the VMAX, bro.
Okay, okay. Just
Yeah.
checking.
Cinderace
That's why I
VMAX.
ask, right? That's why I ask.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it has a couple of interesting attacks. It's got a 170 burn attack and then a counter attack. And the counter attack is really cool because you can actually heal in between, so you can get hit into and then you can heal, bring it back. But then when you come back to the active, you can do the same amount of damage that you got swung into for. So that effect like doesn't reset. The game remembers, okay, you got hit into for 230 or 180 or whatever it is, and even if you Mallow and Lana, you can go ahead and swing back for that damage. So I find Cinderace to be a very tanky option for, I don't know, just another VMAX color that you can play.
Another VMAX color. There
Yep.
you go. There you go. That's super fun. Yeah, the reason I ask is because in all these like Tablemon events, I feel like the baby Cinderace has been popping up everywhere. I don't know what the deal
That's
with
true.
that is, but I guess just to
Yeah,
deal with Zacian, right? Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. It's certainly that kind of Zacian counter. That really the only Zacian counter. I mean, if you look at the post rotation, next format, next at post worlds, I guess, but we don't have worlds. But next rotation, certainly Zacian is like the deck to beat. You just have just so many options. You're just consistent. You have this built-in draw engine, and you're swinging pretty hard, pretty quickly. So certainly the deck to beat, and a lot of those Cinderaces in that future format are able to take advantage of the weakness.
absolutely, absolutely. So there you have it. Our top decks in this format are going to be Pikarom and Eternatus at the tippy top, and sort of our fun pet decks are going to be Excadrill and Cinderace VMAX.
Yeah, they have. You called out Pikarom, obviously doing pretty well in these online tournaments. We also saw in a Chill Series tournament that Excadrill took home the dub. So I mean, Excadrill can still function in this format if you're looking for something that is a little bit interesting to play. And I honestly feel like it's pretty well poised, just considering the amount of fighting weak decks there are right now.
Yeah, and ADP's kind of felt like it's on the low compared to how it's been before.
I mean, I've kind of been saying that for a while. Like, it hasn't ever felt like the dominant deck. And that still doesn't mean that it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe this is a topic that we have already discussed or could discuss further, but it almost doesn't feel like, ADP probably should be banned because it does maybe limit a little bit of the deck building creativity, but it definitely doesn't feel like that dominant force that it has in the past.
For sure.
Has felt like in the past. So
For sure. Yeah, I think the Limitless write up did a good job of explaining like why ADP might deserve a ban. Just
yeah,
because it basically decides its games on turn one.
yeah, essentially, yeah.
um, so I think that makes enough sense to me. But it never, I don't know, it doesn't feel like an extremely dominant deck, but it feels like a deck that is oppressive and unfun to have around.
Yeah, definitely. Couldn't agree more there.
Cool. So let's just jump right in to our card of the day here. JW, I picked this card of the day especially for you.
Hey,
So,
I needed some good news in my life.
as you all know, I am a huge aficionado of the Mad Party archetype. It is by far my favorite deck to play in this format. I love discarding those little guys and doing lots of damage. And JW is a big, big fan of a certain Pokemon, and that is going to be Galarian Mr. Rhyme.
Oh,
So on Twitter, for context, there was a new Mr. Rhyme revealed that does like 40 times the amount of ball item cards in your hand that you discard, which sounds awful to be honest. And I wonder what they're gonna do at Air Balloon because I don't think they want that to count.
oh yeah, huh? That is interesting.
That's more of a shower thought though. So I thought in honor of this, I would give JW a little bit of a gift in shouting out Galarian Mr. Rhyme for Mad Party.
Wow.
So obviously it has the Mad Party attack, which is functionally useless because it is for a water and double colorless. And unless there's some way to fulfill that water cost effectively, Galarian Mr. Rhyme will never see play in an attacking way. But I like the Galarian Mr. Rhyme, A, because he's goofy and fun and a mad partier, but I love his like random ability that he has as well. So if you're unfamiliar or haven't read Galarian Mr. Rhyme, besides the fact that it's mad party, that's the shuffle dance attack or ability, sorry. And this is going to be one of the most interesting abilities I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So once during your turn, you may switch one of your opponent's face down prize cards with the top card of their deck. That is just completely ridiculous to me.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's actually
Makes
so
no
funny.
sense.
Like, and if your opponent just, I don't know, maybe they use a Rangaroo to try and like stack their Marnie for Sycamore for next turn, and you just like put it in their prizes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Imagine losing like that.
That ability is so funny to me. I don't know. I think it's so good. It's just a great card. I love Galarian Mr. Rhyme, the card. Obviously, if you watched back on our least favorite Pokemon video, Galarian Mr. Rhyme did end up getting the worst Pokemon of Generation 8. So not a fan favorite
I
in
just
terms of Pokemon.
I just every time you say Galarian Mr. Rhyme, like my heart like clenches. Like see, like I actually have this kind of like gut reaction, this physical reaction to when you say Mr. Mime or Mime Jr. or Galarian Mr. Rhyme. Like it all just kind of makes me feel just almost not human in a way.
That's why I wanted to share this with you.
Oh,
So,
this was my gift, huh?
so
Okay.
great card, fun art. And I also just want to shout out like the Mr. Rhyme in general has a lot of bizarre cards. It has the screen cleaner Mr. Rhyme, it has the ball Mr. Rhyme, it has Mad Party. Like something's going on in the Mr. Rhyme like
Yeah,
cinematic
it drank.
universe, and it's dark.
I was gonna say, it's like some weird. It's like that off-brand superhero that like drank the Surge or something from 1990, and now has turned into some weird abomination.
At the Mr. Rhyme cinematic universe, something dark is definitely happening there.
For sure.
So shout out to Mr. Rhyme as a Pokemon and as the card.
Shout out.
So we wanted to spend the latter half of the cast today kind of talking about our goals, right? In the spirit of New Year's and New Year's resolutions. I figured it'd be a good opportunity for us to kind of share out what some of our resolutions are and how
Yeah.
we might go about achieving them in this coming year. So
Yeah.
JW, I wanted to start with like a little bit of a structured format to this, and then we can kind of see where it goes from there. But I wanted to take three different kinds of goals. So I wanted to know like a personal goal or resolution, a
Mhm.
Pokemon centric goal or resolution, and a tag team centric goal or resolution.
Mhm.
So you can sit on those for a minute, and I'll start
Okay.
to like give on my own because I obviously didn't give you like time to prep on that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. For sure.
so I'll actually go backwards. So I'll start with tag team. For
Okay.
tag team, I think a really good point that you made, JW, and I think this kind of spans to my larger goal is I want to find more continuous ways to engage our community. So outside of just our typical like chatting experience, I want to develop like stronger like community relations on the podcast. So be that through Twitter or some other mechanism. I want to make sure that people feel like they're involved and they have a voice that's heard in tag team.
Yeah.
So ways you might accomplish that would be, through more direct engagement on Twitter, or, including more viewer topics ahead of time into our cast. Some of the ideas I've been thinking about. In terms of Pokemon, for my next goal here, one thing I really want to do is just take home a dub in a large tournament at some point in 2021. I haven't really been doing a lot of the online tournaments so far. Just really haven't had the time or the energy, to be honest.
Mhm.
But I'm hoping to invest more time into like actively playing at a competitive level the game that I love so much. And
Sure.
I really felt invigorated when I was doing Players Cup 2, and I kind of want to continue that like energy and momentum as we get deeper into 2021. I imagine that most of 2021 will still be online. It's just my hunch, unless
I don't
something
think you're wrong
changes
there.
very rapidly. So we'll see how that like evolves over time. But I want to take home a dub. Dubs are so nice.
Yeah.
And I
Absolutely.
was thinking like literally sometime very early on in 2020, I got like a nice two League Cup wins back to back.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was like
And
both of them were at the
that's
start of
great.
2020, and it was like
Yeah.
right before everything went to crap, and I want to like relive that glory.
I hear you, man. I remember. I like very distinctly remember the last League Cup. I played ADP and I like swept through everybody and I made the finals and I won. And it was like, okay, see you next week. And then the whole world shuts down. And it's amazing how that kind of stuff happens. I mean, it's just wild. Like I don't know that I necessarily took it for granted because at that point, like I just had so many other things on my plate already. Like it was hard to get to tournaments. So every time I did, it was a joy and something that I really look forward to. But yeah, it's just amazing. Like I was touching physical cards today, and I was like, man, I really, really miss this.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely miss playing physical cards, but I still want to try and get a win somewhere in the absence of a physical event.
Yeah,
I really do like love this game, and I love playing it. It's just been hard for me to get as motivated in the online setting, and I want to kind of change that attitude a little bit. It kind of
Yeah.
harkens back to some discussions on Twitter today. Um, Online events, are they as hard as physical events? Does it even matter? Like, there's still Pokemon events. There's a large amount of people competing in them, and like, who are we or anyone else to like try and tear down that accomplishment, right?
Sure.
Like that is a win. A win is a win. Um, who's going to tell you otherwise, right? Like, you were in
Yeah,
that.
I mean, it's I think a lot of it is what you place on it, right? So if you're proud of it, then that's great. Then I am happy to give you that space to be proud of your accomplishments, and that's the same for online tournaments as it is for in-person tournaments, as it is for anything you do in your life, like
Yeah, really.
promotion, or you got a new dog, or you got a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Like, I'm gonna be happy for you if you're happy for you. So
Exactly.
keep doing your thing, man. Yeah.
Exactly. Then my last goal here for 2021, my personal goal, um, kind of an extension of like my fitness journey throughout the last couple of years, is I want to work on like my own self-image and self-confidence. I feel like I
Yeah.
place a lot of my like value in other people's opinion of me, and I want to have like a more independent, like positive, affirmed view of myself. That's something that takes a lot of work and a lot of time. But um, that's definitely something I want to pretty heavily work on this year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. A lot of great things there. What are kind of the actionable steps that you're going to take towards that third goal?
It's a little tough. I think some of it's going to come down to even like simple things, like taking time at the end of the day, just like meditate or like think about things that I did that were successful in a day. Um, a lot of it's like kind of in your head, right? Like, just taking a look at yourself in the mirror in the morning, like giving yourself positive affirmation and positive space. Um, and I think some of it as well is to almost like train myself, like kind of like slap myself on the wrist to like not be reliant on other people to like form my opinion of myself. Um, and it's tough. It's tough. I'm very hard on myself naturally,
Yeah.
so um, it's tough to like as discreetly plan it out, but it's something I will 100% be working on, and like my strategy for it will almost certainly be evolving as the year goes on.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's good.
How about you, JW? Though, what are your three goals for those three different
Um,
categories?
okay, yeah. So tag team. Am I allowed to say like analytics? Like, am I allowed to
Yeah,
talk
go
about the
for
stats? All right, all right. I just never know, because I feel
it.
like stats, particularly with podcasts, are very secretive. Like, we don't really know what's going on, as opposed to like a YouTube video, right? I can go search up anyone and see, oh, okay, they got this amount of views on this video or over this month, or they have this amount of subscribers. Like, we just
Sure.
know that inherently. And a lot of other content creation platforms, we know, like, you go on their Patreon, okay, they're making this amount of money and they have this amount of supporters. Like, it's just very obvious. But with the podcasting realm, that's a little less obvious. So if I may be a little bit transparent here, peel back the curtain, we've had really great growth here over the last half of the last year. I feel like I sound like a broken record when I talk about the growth of my own channel and tag team, but it really is true. So we are averaging somewhere in that 3 to 4,000 listens every month, or every period, they say. So every 30-day period, and that's great. I would love to obviously increase that. I think like an achievable goal that we could have for the cast would be somewhere in the 5 to 6,000 range every month of downloads, and that would be where I would want to go. Now, how do I achieve that? I mean, I think it's a lot of what you said, trying to drive some engagement, trying to just get more people involved, because I think we do have a lot of people that are very excited about the cast that either listen live, or, I know a lot of you guys are listening, obviously behind the scenes, because I could see the numbers, there are a lot of you guys listening, but, we do have a pretty passionate fan base. And so it's just trying to grow that, it's trying to grow that base. That's always the hard part, right? I know that there are a
Yeah.
lot of passionate people out there, and now let's try to grow the family. Um, so that would be the goal for tag team. And then in terms of a personal goal, I've been doing some home workouts, which has been great. I feel
Yeah,
like it's, it's not ever something, I don't know, that I don't know, just getting the fitness in check. I've been watching a lot of fitness TikTok. It's been pretty inspiring. But it has been like pretty fun to like lift weights.
it is.
I had never lifted weights before, but my wife got some, um, 15-pound dumbbells, and I've been slinging those critters around, and doing all the things that you can do with minimal weight dumbbells.
Yeah.
But it's been pretty enjoyable. I've gotten some good sweats on, and I've never truly felt the endorphin rush of a workout. But I love like playing sports, and getting my workout in that way, where it's like a goal oriented competition.
Mhm.
But with lifting weights, I can definitely like start to see the appeal. Like I've tried to give it enough time. So I'd say over the last like 2 months, like I've been doing just, again, like you can't do a ton with 15-pound dumbbells, but you can do something. So I've been trying to do something, and maybe eventually, if I feel comfortable going to a gym, or maybe we can find more weights at a very appropriate price, because man, that's expensive. I didn't realize how expensive having weights
There
were.
actually was a huge like inflation on dumbbells post COVID.
Oh, okay. How much were they before COVID?
They were still kind of expensive, but I'm pretty sure like if you can look it up, there's like articles about it, but they like went up a
Okay.
lot.
Okay, I have no doubt, because right now we're seeing about $2 per pound. So if if you extrapolate that into, you get 25-pound dumbbells. Well, you're all of a sudden it's $100 for two dumbbells, right? It's like, wow, that doesn't really seem, for what they're doing for me. Like it doesn't seem worth it. But anyway, so that would be a personal goal, is like to continue lifting weights. And I hear that it's really good for like bone density when you're old. And I'm basically a 90-year-old in my mind. So maybe I need the bone density now. And then a Pokemon goal that I have is it's coming up soon. I really want to qualify for that day 2 of Players Cup 3. I missed out by about 8 points on Players Cup 2. And so just trying to be in that right mind space and headspace, and preparation space for Players Cup 3. The reach goal would be to obviously win the Players Cup, which I always want to do whenever I play in a tournament. But that kind of comfortable goal that I feel very confident in achieving would be to make it onto the second leg of competition. So that would be my Pokemon base goal for 2021.
Yeah, those players cups, I get excited when I'm in those, man. They're pretty
Yeah,
fun.
it's pretty exciting. I mean, I'm gonna extend the offer, Riley. I mean, if you want to do like some actual hardcore testing, I don't know the last time that I didn't do well. No, I do remember the last time, but I don't frequently get the chance to do really meticulous testing, like kind of we used to do with you before regionals or something like that. So
Yeah,
I'm opening the offer. I would love to work more, um, for Players Cup 3, or for any other tournaments that we have coming up.
that's a good idea.
So
Cool. Well, I think those are some really good set of goals, and I hope that both as a cast and a duo, and just individually, that we're able to reach for those.
yeah, absolutely. We have a comment here in the chat. You need a tag team online tournament. What do you think about that, Riley?
I'm curious, like what kind of structure we would take on that, because we also do have the Full Grip Online series.
That's
Um,
true.
and Full Grip obviously is a great ally and sponsor of the cast. So I don't want to step on their toe. But that said, like we talked about this, I think probably like 5 months ago now, maybe longer, about potentially doing something. Um,
Yeah,
I guess I'm curious what the community would want out of that, and then
sure.
we can tailor to meet that need. I would love to like co-cast a tournament with you, or do something
Sure.
fun to fill that community.
Yeah, absolutely. Always be thinking of new ideas.
JW, do you have any like super like, I think they're called like big fat hairy audacious goals in 2021? Anything crazy you're trying to reach for?
Um, I mean, I guess for like, well, the first thing is to get a job, right? So I'm doing this coding thing. I say it so like flippantly, like I'm doing this coding thing, but it's actually, basically going back to school. That's like a job, like school as a job, which I've never really, well, I've had before, but it's been kind of like varied topics, right? Where you'd like do individual practice and then you'd, play in an orchestra and then you might have your lesson, so it was a lot of work kind of spread out over various things. Whereas this is a lot of work and it's all one track, and so, that'll be a little bit different for me. So obviously, the end goal of that, get a job. Ann and I have been looking at houses
Ooh.
recently. We found like, I mean, it's not a dream house because it's like a first house, but it would be it would be fantastic. It would be fantastic. We're gonna go see it tomorrow. It's like in the location that we like. I mean, we're in Bexley or near Bexley. You would know, Riley, so I'm telling you the details. But we're near Bexley, and this one is just like literally like 2 streets down from where we are now. So great
Yeah.
location, and the price range is perfect for what we can afford right now. And it'd be just nice to have our own space as opposed to renting, and
Oh
we
yeah,
can
for sure.
obviously put that money into the real estate,
Right,
right?
like you're
So
investing in yourself.
yeah, exactly. And it's about that time. And yeah, so maybe the stars will align. They probably won't. Doesn't seem, likely, but it's a possibility. So we're hoping for that. And yeah, another goal that I want to have. It sounds kind of like silly to put this as like a in the same realm as the other two, but I really want to like make more merch in 2021.
My friend was texting me that he said he wished we had tag team merch, and I started to
I,
come up with some ideas.
yeah.
I didn't really bring them to you because I wasn't sure if you wanted to do anything, but
No, I like really I want to do merch for my personal channel. And it's not really like I'm not really hoping to like make a lot of money because I mean, we're not like the biggest thing, but
sure.
it just would be cool. Like I just want it because it's cool.
Yeah.
Like I just want it for myself, really. I was thinking like a polo with the logo on the, it'd be because we want something that's a little bit, I feel like that reflects the cast, right? So like a little like a polo. I don't know.
You see,
That's
I
that was
I was
my initial
thinking to
thought,
like reflect
something
the
subtle.
cast. We have like a very our consistent theme in terms of like imaging has always been like dual almost. Like there's always been like two colors going on. Um, Obviously we have our logo. I was
Yeah.
thinking we could do like a my picture in my mind, and now going into the details was like a crew neck or a sweatshirt, um, but it was like a color block with some. So we would have like maybe our red with our blue sleeves or something, like something cool, like
Something
something
very
like
distinct, like
streetwear, like
and like an
trendy.
angular,
Yeah,
sleeve. Oh, that would be sweet.
yeah, something cool. I don't know how we
Yeah.
would ever get that made, um, but that would be cool.
There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way.
So that was like my main idea when my friend brought it up to me.
Okay.
And then we could have like we could still have our logo almost like a Polo Ralph Lauren, right? We'd have our logo like in this corner on the chest.
Okay, that'd be sick. All right. Well, let's make it a goal in the next month to like take an evening or a weekend day and like just like do it. Just do it. Just make it happen. Whatever way it has to happen, let's just make it happen.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you have any ideas for tag team merch, be sure to drop them on our Twitter. We'd love to hear what you got.
Absolutely.
Or if any of the ideas we said are particularly appealing, be sure to drop opinions on that as well.
Yeah, let us know what you'd buy.
And really, like, I don't think we'd be that interested in making like a huge turnaround on merch, but I think
No,
having it out there would be really cool.
yeah. No. It probably, and honestly, like any profits would go basically back into the cast, right? Like
Yeah,
any profits would
absolutely.
be like, oh well, we get to do an extra giveaway this week or this month,
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So
Like, I think one thing that's like worth noting in the spirit of transparency is like the cast is really just like reinvested back into itself. We don't really profit off of it or anything. Anything that we've gotten from like Twitch has just gone into like giveaways um, or like maintaining our quality and getting logos, things like that.
yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So think we're approaching the end here today, JW. Anything that you want to share with our viewers? Any nuggets of wisdom for 2021?
Well, just don't doom scroll.
Don't doom scroll. That's a good one for sure. In the
I
spirit of the
I'm
day here.
yeah, I'm falling victim to it. I'm getting really overwhelmed. I don't normally feel, and we've talked about this. Like me personally, I don't normally feel the effects of like mental fatigue or mental stress that I felt like I was that I couldn't overcome. But certainly today it just is hitting a little bit different.
For sure.
So, how about you, Riley? Anything else you want to leave us with?
Um, love yourself. Do what's right for you in 2021. Stay healthy, stay safe, and stay listening to Tag Team.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. So thank you guys all so much for listening. We appreciate every single listener that pops by, be it for every single episode or one episode. You guys are truly, truly valuable to us. And yeah, have a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Yep, same time, same place, Tag Team. Bye, everyone.